Let's see. I think we are online finally. Let's see. Sorry, the computer, it's kind of limited, but I think I managed to change the settings. So the the hardware, it's okay. I know I'm live on Twitch already. This one says here that I'm at YouTube. Sure. Uh, are we live? I don't think we are. Maybe. Okay, we're live. All right, thank you very much for bearing with me, guys. All right, so basically, I just wanted to go over the videos that we have had and the all the things that branded Player 23 has on. Let's start with the popular videos. The YouTube already has top 12 videos I have made throughout this year. And this is the first six, and this is the last six. So I'm gonna skip the last two to mention that this video right here was made with uh, Pedro. I forgot Pedro's last name though. Pedro got a top 16 in the regional that comes right after the national. Pedro was working or was pilot a canine Christian deck, which was super popular back then before, well, right around the time that the canine Vanquishal variant got hit in the ban list. Now, Pedro did a really good job, and his teammates also, Miguel Brache, and Maximo Miranda got into the top as well, with Maximo Miranda, I think, getting top eight. In an amazing performance of a pure yummy deck against all odds. Congratulations to Maximo. Miguel Ratchet, probably the best blue eye in the region, got a really good performance. And then the video following that one, which is this one right here, where we see Thierry Celestin, which has made more than one appearance in the video. Thierry is one of the, I would say, top players. He's one skillful enough, but also very, very, very lucky. This man gets the right card at the right moment every time, or most of the times at least. I'm not gonna say he wins every game that he plays, but he has imposed a dominance in the different stores that he plays at. And he was playing the Mitsurugi Rice Seal with Kashtira variant, I think, by that moment. And he really enjoys that deck. And the Senpais are one of his best tools in his arsenal. Um, let's start with the first video. This video right here, should Brandon have won the UK Open? This was a breakdown that I did, a breakdown that I made about Darwin Navas.
My locals, or even my country's regionals
Into
or nationals, is a different story. Each branded player is different,
the
and we have
UK
lots
Open,
of
which is
ideas to add.
their
One of
version
the
of the
things I
YCS.
like the most about
Uh,
branded is a large
Regional, for
combo
my
web
country, we only
that it
get
can
regionals, we
build,
don't get
and the
YCS
even
here,
crazier
but
fact that it all can
totally
be
is
viable in different metas.
the
Success is
best way
determined
that
by a lot of factors. The
the
most
biggest
important
tournament
for
over there.
me
They have like
are the
two of
current
those a year
local
too.
meta, build, and skills you
And
have with it,
Darwin
and the
Navas
Yu-Gi-Oh factor.
totally
Without further ado,
my
let's get into the
my
video. Game 1 seems like a hard brick hand for Darwin. It's very difficult to see his hand because
video
of the
card is
camera
homie for
angle
in real
from the
life.
broadcast. But all I've got to say about it is that
And
he
well,
didn't have any card to bait in
this
or
video
even
basically I
play
did
at
a
all.
breakdown
All it
of
took
what I
was
think
one
were
interruption and the
Darwin's
deck was done.
opportunities and
Now,
what are the
when
things
you
that I
brick,
think
you brick. But you would be surprised with the times I thought
the
I
things he
had
could have done
bricked
better,
with
the
my
things that he
branded
did
deck, and it
great.
turns out I was
Uh,
actually able to
Darwin
interact
started.
with my opponent's deck
I know
and
that
even managed to create advantage,
yeah,
mostly during my
he
opponent's turn.
bricked the
Now
first
this
one.
usually
And
translates
that's
into
fine.
running
When you
through
play
the
branded, you gotta
Despia,
know.
Grand Guignol,
You gotta
or
know
Nettier
you're about to
lines,
break. I
which
put a
mean
lot of
that
effort
you
into
set your
this video.
field
It took me
and
like 2
graveyard
weeks to
for
make because I had other
interactions
things
during
going
the
on.
next turn
And
based
I
on
wish
what
it
the
would have
opponent
done
does
it would have
and
been done
taking
faster. I was
advantage
still gonna
of their
have
choke
edit. It was
points.
quite of a challenge.
So
I
that is
spent
one
at least
skill every
10
brand
hours
player
editing
should
videos.
master first,
For those of you
playing
who are
during the
wondering how to
opponent's
start a
turn,
YouTube channel,
and
I'm
that
probably
always
gonna
requires setup.
gonna
My problem
create
with
more
not
content
being
on
able
that
to
side for you on a
resolve
separate
brand
channel.
diffusion and then
YouTube
passing the
has
turn
been a
as a
journey where I
branded
had to
player
learn how to
is
edit
that it
pictures,
adds to the
how to
narrative
edit
that if you don't
video,
resolve
how to
branded
edit audio,
fusion,
and all
your
of
deck
those
is
things are done
useless. We have
separately. In
all
the
heard it,
past,
and that is
it used to
simply
be done
not
by
true.
3D4V,
Just as
but
the
nowadays
commentators
one
mentioned
person
during
only
stream,
could do it
So
with the right
Darwin definitely
software
has been
and a
piloting
average
branded for
YouTube
long enough. He
creator.
should be able to know
But
when
that was me.
to
You see
kind
how
of, as I
the
mentioned
video
previously through
changed
round three, not
the
to rely on
tone
branded fusion as
overall.
much.
I even dare
I
to
know how to
say
filter.
he should have
The music
tributed
went up,
cards
went
from
down.
hand instead of just tributing his own
Huge
monster
droplet.
because
I
of
made a
how
critique of
resourceful Raizo
Darwin always, but he had.
is. Is
By
a
the way,
top deck to beat right now,
Darwin
and
is an
Branded
amazing branded
can
player who has
actually
been
go
topic
toe to
for
toe with it
years.
even without
I'm
hand
fairly
traps
new to branded.
or additional support. I'll make sure to discuss this
And also
further in
Corey
upcoming
was
videos,
running
but I got
a
an example of a Ryciel matchup
probably
in
the
my
best deck at
channel,
the moment.
so go check it out. Game 2, it's Darwin's
That
start,
was
and he
Raizo
kicks things
Mitsui.
off with a
Right before
majestic
Mitsui got
fusion
the newest
deployment
support with have
into
a
branded
creative
opening, discarding Tragedy
and
as if
that
he
deck
was
used to slap.
covering up from the
We
poor
have not seen
performance
a
of
more
Game 1.
dominant
He
deck
goes
in
all
recent
out on
years.
Game
So
2,
that's probably
so
Yami would say.
if Corey has any
Raizo Mitsui.
interactions, Darwin is forcing him to use them now,
I love when
or
he put
else
greens in
he
there.
will
It's
be
just fun
left
for me. I don't know if
behind and
people
in
really
big
enjoy
trouble.
this, but
Darwin
I
chooses
really
to
enjoy
send
it myself.
Branded in High Spirits to the graveyard. As for the effect of Guiding Quem,
Yeah,
which I haven't
reality
gotten to
is that
figure it
this
out
video
yet
was something that I
because
created with
I
a lot of
think the
love,
logic behind this
and I
play
wanted
is
to
to
make
add
sure
High
that
Spirits at the end of the
I
turn to use it as a discard for next turn, maybe when
I
special
put
summoning an
something out that people
Albus,
wanted to
or
watch. It created a
cost
lot of
for
reactions.
super
People had a lot of
polymerization,
comments and
or
things
even
to
branded
say.
opening. Tell you
Most
more
of the
about this
negatives
by
they
the
don't
end
like
of
my
Darwin's
critique.
turn. Let's move on with
Sometimes,
the action. So we go to the one thing that we
yeah,
all
like this
expected,
one, if your hand
Ash
is
Blossom
bullshit, you
on
can't break the
Branded Fusion.
interruptions. What are you
It's
talking
not a
about?
secret here that this
Someone
play
help.
is the
We
one
got
that you
another
always have
coping
to do
overdose.
when playing against
That
Branded.
was
Right
fun.
after this, Darwin
Alright,
advances to
and
the end
clear
phase of
answer,
his
no.
turn with
Then
3 cards in
sanctified.
hand.
Some
We'll
people
get
are
to
so
one of them
salty
in a
on
moment. Then
about
he added Branded in High
sanctifier.
Spirits
I
by its own
understand why.
effect
I don't
from
like it
graveyard.
myself.
Since a fusion went
It's the
there,
way that
it
Branded
restricts him to
tends to
activate
win,
it in
but
his turn
all of
and
those things
cannot
might
set it
change
during
with
the end
Burst
phase.
Protocol.
And then he sets Branded in
Uh,
red from Albion's effect.
let's see.
It's revealed in
In
next
this
turn that he has an
case,
Albus in hand,
I
which can come as a surprise because he
have
ultimately locked
also this
Corey
comment. Not gonna
from
lie, man.
summoning
Darwin
with
is the
Ido.
best player on
However,
Branded. He is, by
anyone
the way.
that
He
knows
literally almost
Branded a
won
tiny
the
bit will
whole
expect this
event
kind
in
of luck
barely
coming
any
through
testing. So
Sanctifier,
everyone
as he
defending
already
what
has
they're
the
doing in that deck.
presence of his fusion
He knows
materials
Branded,
that
that's
are
for
light
sure. When you
spellcasters
know
in the
Branded,
form of Guiding Quem
if
and
you have
Gremlin.
minimum
This is a
understanding,
strategy
you get
we
a long
haven't
way.
used
That's for
since
sure.
Sanctifier
I
came
built
out in Branded
this
Expulsion
list,
Gap Band, and
then
it
he
has
piloted
had
it,
many
and it was the same
faces,
for
whether it
Wizard
was
and
the
someone
Gimmick
got
Puppet
into
Nightmare, Ida the
Darwin
Supreme
would
Magical
test
Force,
literally
Era
unfair. It is
Disciple, or
unfortunate
maybe
that
even
the hand
Spirits
wasn't
with Isaac Lee.
optimal
My
and he
only
won.
problem with this
He
strategy in today's
wasn't
day
even
and
playing the
age
most
is the
optimal
amount of
list.
interruptions that
We
will
wanted
not
to
only
play
cripple
because
the
we didn't
lock,
have
but also
who
leave
was.
you in
Oh
a
yeah,
vulnerable
was
state.
available.
As for
Was
this
not as
specific
widely
Branded
available over
duel
there.
with
Put
Darwin
a
and
bit more
Corey,
respect
if
in his
Corey
name
would
because he
have run
deserves it.
a Bestial
I agree.
package or even a plain
I,
Ghost Belt and
do
Haunted
think
Bench, he would have
well,
subbed
in my opinion, might
Darwin's
have
and
come
would have
across
left you with a
as
single interaction.
disrespectful
This
for some
being the
people. I
Grumbiel
could
effect from
see why.
Graveyard. Even a single
Either way,
Dominus
I put a huge
Impulse would have
disclaimer on
done
the
the
top of the
job,
video, so
which
you're not
would
gonna
have
get
been
everyone
very
happy.
unlikely
Either
since
way,
Corey
then
was
again,
playing right
Darwin
Seal.
now
On
is
the
an
other hand,
amazing
as
player
much
who
as
has
I
been
don't like
dominating
this
with
play
Branded in
to be
different
consistent,
events
the current format, specifically
throughout
for game 2 or 3 when
like
the
the span of
opponent
probably
has a
6 years,
chance to
and
cycle
they
in his
keep it
side
to
deck
themselves.
strategy.
Yep,
Darwin made sure
pretty
to
good.
go undefeated for
To
8
see
rounds
a
against
Branded deck
Malice
winning,
twice, Blue
we have had
Eyes, Spit
different
Bestial,
Branded
Christian
decks
twice,
test
even
top
Melodious and
in
Ryciel
different
twice. So
regionals.
this
Like I
strategy is
remember
still
in Greece,
viable in
there was a
today's day and
Branded player
age.
winning all
The
the
key
events.
factor to keep in mind are
There were small
number 1,
events, so
the meta
gotta
of the
say
tournament. That
we're all
varies
about
by
Branded in this
place
channel,
or
but
culture, like
the
the
deck
amount
was
of
not
tier 0, tier
tier
1,
2
tier 2
most
rogue
of
and
the
sub
year
rogue decks. Number 2,
after the
the
Fallen
build and
Versus
skills of the
came out,
player.
and even after
Branded
Versus
allows
Contest
so
came
many
out,
lines.
some of the Draco
Some are
cards.
viable for
Branded
meta,
was not an
some
option
are
that
not,
you could
but you can still
play
benefit from it. And
against
for 3,
most
the Yu-Gi-Oh factor or luck. As for example, in
hand
Darwin's
traps
going
events
undefeated in this
decks like
tournament and
Yummy,
losing
Flugy, or like
awfully to an imp in
Jummy
game
in
1. I
general,
personally
Dracozo,
prefer
which
going through
makes
the Light and
different
Darkness Dragon
a
Lord
range of
lines. It seems more
different
consistent
array
to force
of
any
hand
player
traps.
through those
So
three
I
interruptions,
think goes
while my
well will
other
not be
fusion
defending me throughout
monsters
the
and
whole year.
support cards like Ranguignol,
Will
Veritas,
negate everything. Will
Mirrorjade,
negate the Valiant.
Ripper,
It will
and
negate
even for scanning,
Albion.
deal
It
with
will
my
negate
opponent's main
Quem.
monsters.
It could
One mistake I have
negate
made playing
Branded
Branded in the
Banishment if you
past
don't
is use
have
all spaces in the monster
uh,
zones before
Branded Lock
locking
in
the opponent.
Field.
I will encourage every branded player out
Could
there
negate
to avoid this
Oliver. Could
since,
negate
as you could see, branded luck
Grim
would
Grim.
only
There's a lot of
came
cards
to
that
fruition
uh,
because Corey used Excite Sight
the
effect
Ghost Rolling
in an
Hunts like
attempt to
mentioned in
clear
the past.
Darwin's board.
Um,
Corey might have
overall,
been able to
I just
benefit
wanted
from
to
a
look
full
back
monster
into
board
this.
that Darwin
And
had,
with
because the
your
only
cards,
interaction that Darwin
imagine what a
had was
player can
one
do with a
wheel,
tier 2
and that would
Gex.
have
Of course, he must
meant
lock Speed 12,
basically
but he's not
a
gonna do it anymore,
Buscanion on the
hopefully.
field or a Guiding
I just
Quem.
don't like that.
If Corey
But
would have
I
gone
don't think
for
it's
the dual
offensive to me.
drive
But
instead of the
imagine
second
Darwin
sight, he would
winning with
have
a
had better
branded version of the
chances
deck
to
that includes the
clear
Synchros
Darwin's board. Dual drive
with
makes the
the
opponent
new
lose
Celestial
100
Black
attack
Dragon,
points for every
well, Void
material it
Dragon,
has, and monsters you
and
control gain 100 attack as
him
well.
doing all that
That
was
way,
included
a
hand checks,
detonator
because
summoned by
hand checks do
Corey
allow
would
you to
have had enough attack to
minimize
climb
what
over
a meta
Albion
deck can
and
do.
also taking out the
You
threat
won't
of
stop them
Quem. I
completely
really feel like
in
this game
most of
2
the cases,
was not
but
really locked
it
in
could
by
help
Darwin since the
restrict some
first
plays
moment.
if you know what
Corey
to do,
gave up
when to do
while
it, how
having
to
the
do
tools
it,
to
right?
fight back. For
Um,
game 3, Corey
so
has the upper
this
hand at the
was a
beginning of Darwin's
16-minute
turn
video,
in the form of
11-minute
a
video.
Rice Seal Detonator
It
with
was fun to
Eclipse
do.
Twins,
It gave me a lot
Material,
of insight
Abyss
on how to make
Dweller, a
videos on
set
YouTube,
Cult by the Grave, and Rice
and
Seal Cross for a
I
negate.
think
Darwin gets a side deck package
this will
from
be
the
the type
XYZ
of video that I would
Encore.
like
He
to
drew
make
2
in
of
the future.
those, and he actually changed
But
one to Dweller
totally, this
activation, which
video
allows him to use his Graveyard's
will
effect
be
this
something
turn. Corey
that
searches
I
with
want to
Rice
do
Seal Red,
again
and
with
the next
another
play is
branded
Darwin
player
with
going all the
XYZ
way up,
Encore now
and
to
then
the
analyzing
Detonator.
his
Certain that
plays,
this is a
even
misplay on Corey's
non-branded
side,
players.
since Detonator had an
I think
Eclipse Twins
these are
attached,
really
he
good.
should have been
Maybe my
able
own
to special
videos when
summon
I
Dual
record
Drive
them
from
and
Graveyard
do
and
live
use Cross
commentaries and some
effect
of the
for
stuff that I
negation
attend
later
to.
on. Now, with
This is
most
something
of
that
the
I
threats
really
removed
would
from
like
the
to see
field,
happen
Darwin
more
normal
often.
summon Albus, discards
It's
at limit
hard
to
to
fusion
job.
summon with
You
Rice
have
Seal
to put
X,
time and
bringing out
effort.
Albion
Most
the
people just
Branded
want to play
Dragon, for
video
which
casual
Darwin
and enjoy it.
activates effect,
At the
and
most
Corey
competitive,
called
you
by
want
the
to
Grave,
put
targeting
enough time to
Albus,
play
which
it and
forces
play.
Darwin to play his Branded in red.
So
Now, this is where things
shout
get
out to
interesting
Darwin Corey as
because
well,
we
who was
have a
part of
chain
this and won
created
the
and it
UK
did
Open.
not resolve well. Here,
And
explain
anyone
why.
who wants me
Chain
to make
1,
videos
Albion the
look at what
Branded
it
Dragon to
was.
fuse. Chain 2, Cult by the Grave, target Albus and Grave. Chain
Darwin
3, Branded
ultimately
in
ended
red,
up
target
losing
Albus
this.
and Grave. When resolving this
So
chain,
yeah,
we missed
you
the
can go
fusion.
watch the videos on my channel. Um, the ninth most watched video in my channel was all right, yeah, look, Marca Chaplain, what a card. It's the first video I made with
Include a new
stamped.
Dogmatica card called Dogmatica
Let's
Chap.
check out the intro because I
Hello
really read
everybody,
it.
welcome back. This is Branded Player
Sorry,
20.
hold on.
Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Branded Player 23. And today I want to talk about a very cool card coming out in the next edition of V Jumps October special issue, which will include a new Dogmatica card called Dogmatica Chaplain. And I want to talk a little bit more about this card because I think it's a great fit for Branded. Of course, for Dogmatic as well, but I think we Branded players could definitely enjoy it and get the best out of it because when we run the Dogmatic package, those Nadir Serpents at Maximus, the double Quem, this this one card is a perfect fit, and I think we all can benefit from it. Let's take a look at it. The artwork looks pretty cool. I would say it's very in line to what Dogmatica is. Cultist also looks a lot like the ad libitum version of Dogmatica right before it turns into the evil, into the Despia, which is really good. The card has pretty unique effects. Let's talk about it because you can actually use each one. There's 3 of them and you can use all 3 of them in the same turn. That's a powerful card. Let's go over the stats first. It says Omatica Chaplain, and here's the Japanese version. Level 8 Light Spellcaster. Great synergy with Branded because it can still allow us to, if we need to fuse with it, we can go into the Sanctifier Albion, which is, you know where I'm going with this. Attack and defense is the same, so if you random players are paying attention, or other players also, you know that this one you can special summon it with Luluwa Lilith at the end of the turn, so that's a great thing to do. Pretty sure it's not a tunner like Artesia or Quem, but still I'll take that. Same attack and defense, that's pretty good attack and defense. It says you can only use each one of the effects once per turn, so you don't have to pick which effect you want to use. You can use all 3 of them. First one, it says if a monster is special summon from the extra deck, if it's on the field, you can special summon this card out of your hand. So that's a great effect that Branded and surrounding cards have taken, like Iris Dorsal. Also, we have one Dogmatic card that does that as well. And with Questia, you can special summon it. Both versions of them. And you have Fleur de Lis as well. You can special summon it. If there's a monster special summon, depending on where it was special summon, you could also gain another effect. So this is pretty cool. We need more cards like that because it accelerates our play. Branded doesn't have that many cards that will be quick effect to special summon. And you know Draco Tail is all about it. So if we want to keep up without getting involved with them, like keep it only branded or Despia or Dogmatic in this case, you need to have one of these cards. Second effect is that it's when it's special summon from the hand, mind you from the hand. So if you bring it at the end of the turn, you're not gonna get that trigger effect. But if you special summon it from the hand, you can make each player send one monster from the extra deck to the graveyard, which is an effect because I'll tell you something, guys. When I use Nadir Servant, sometimes I don't really want to send two cards with Maximus. I only need one more to complete my combo and end my plays, but I still have to send two. So it's compromise at that point. So sending just one card, whichever you want, and it's your pick, it's an amazing, super strong effect.
Right here, yeah, you can see it right. I have a phone there. I'm looking at the script, and I wanted to make it look like I was looking at the screen of the computer, which is fine. I had this set up in the living room of my house. Now in my room, I gotta change that. There's some new things coming, and slowly and steady, I'm upgrading things. Like I got the camera, I got the microphone, I got a splitter, I got another monitor. God, I got so many things. It takes some time, and you get to enjoy it. Every time you get a new device, it's amazing. It's amazing. Anyway, let's keep watching. Um, that's the same microphone I got here, like
But
right
we
right
only
here in the
saw
studio.
with Grand
But
Guignol
usually,
if the monsters are level 6 or higher and they're dark or light. But in this case, it's any monster from the extra decks. So we have a lot of targets for this monster. Some targets that could run the effect right there and then when you send them. Garura, Rimbrum to special summon Albus and then take one of the monsters that the opponent has.
this one was me and
Grand
Albert.
Guignol,
Well,
and
let's
we
get
can
this one.
eventually remove it to special summon Quem or another Despia from the extra deck. Pretty good. Um, oh, then we also have some end of turn effects like Albion, Lulu Lilith, Tynaclad, or
One
Avalanatus if
hundred
you're
and
still
eighty-five
running it.
views in the
So
comments.
it's a
This is my
toolbox.
daily
At
life.
that point, you
Thank
send
you,
whatever you need.
whoever you are. I
You can
love
also
you.
send
This is
Cloud
my
Beast Malong if you
favorite
need it.
nephew, whoever
Garura.
you are. But thank you.
It's all up to you. It's pretty good. Aggregator is also a good target
It's very
if you
chilling
play
right now.
it. um,
The jobs that I have
there's
outside
also
politics.
some
I mean,
synergies that this monster
one of the
has. So
jobs that I
let's
have is
say
that I'm a teacher. Most of
if
the
you
kids
remove
in my class still
Ranguignol by
teaching.
its effect because the
Some of the
opponent
kids
special summon a
teaching, but
monster
why not?
from their hand
They're
by
out there.
another
It's not
monster
like they're
effect or from their deck or anywhere else,
but
you can
getting
remove
to a lot
Ranguignol,
of
special
the
summon this monster.
learning process and the
Also,
development process
Titanic
comes
Lad
with
can
running
special
this
summon it
studio.
at the end of the turn, but you
It's an
wouldn't have
amazing feeling.
the
It's full of
mill or
emotions.
dump
It's full
effect.
of fulfilling
It
moments.
depends what you need it
Also
for.
with
You
an
can still
adult
remember you can
kid,
still do the
their
Albion
charm,
Sanctifier lock with this
their
card.
essence
You can search it with
really
Nadir Servant. Let's not forget that's really
touches
big.
part of
Like
my
that's
soul
one thing you
that
can do with this
makes
monster.
me
So you can
crazy
search it with Nadir
and may
Servant.
help more
You will have
children
to
or
dump a monster
families.
that has over 2,000 attacks.
It's
Garura will
fulfilling. It's
not
something I
fit
really
for
enjoy.
sending this monster,
There's a
but
lot of
who cares?
motivation of me
Um,
doing the videos
you
and getting
probably
knowing
will
that kids
have
are
this monster
watching
for
because
follow-up
once you get a
plays.
game, they say, "Oh, you're a
Prob-
streamer.
Probably
Do
towards the
are you
later
a
end of your
YouTuber?"
turn,
That's pretty
or if you can
amazing.
search it on your
That's
opponent's
something I
turn,
really
that's a good
enjoy.
card. Well, it doesn't name Falling of Alvas anywhere, so we cannot search it with branded loss, but still is a pretty good card.
Thank
And
you
let's go
everybody
now
for
to the
watching.
third effect it has. It says if its card is sent to the
This video
graveyard,
was
you can
around
target 1
5 minutes long.
Dogmatica card in your
Um,
graveyard, except Dogmatic Chaplain,
I
and add it to your hand. So we can recycle Quem,
wanted to
and
show
we
this
can
card in a really
recycle
like
Maximus if you need
episode
it.
time because
Mostly Maximus you can already do it with Nadir Servant, but just
the
in
1st
case
of
you don't want
February
to spend your
I'm
Nadir in
getting
that
my
or you don't
wallet
have access to
ready
your Nadir,
for all
this
the
one
cards
can
that are
bring it
coming
back
next year.
even when
So
you use it as a
granted,
fusion
there's not
summon. Like
not that
the
many
best
cards
part about
probably
this
right
card
now.
is that it's a dogmatic
Blackguard's
monster.
first
So
protocol
you
is
can search it
gonna
with
be it.
Nadir, but it doesn't
First
restrict you
protocol will
to
have
use any
use
special,
two
any extra the
super
card.
shards, I think, because it
So I
has
think
the
this is
Eclipse
one of
Black
the cards that
Dragon
Branded needs
and the other
to
one
make it
is the
quicker.
Sorcerer
And
Black
we all
Dragon.
know the Branded it's coming back to being relevant because Konami is releasing Chronicles of
I'm so
White,
happy at least to watch the
Fallen,
one
and
at
what is
least
it, the Albas and
of
Quem
the OG
Chronicles,
Albas.
which is cool, but we need
Let's go
cards to
back
back
and look
that
at
up.
the number 8th most watched video on the channel. It's first six, and now number eight will be this one, pure branded deck profile post, Doom of Dimensions, which was a video that I made to show people why I was running two branded fusions or how I was running it after the ban list because I didn't get to
What
make
is up, everybody?
uh look at this guy, look at his face. I didn't get to make a video about it when it came out. It's hard to keep up the balance with making videos, making quality videos, or trying to improve the quality at least every time. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't start being great, but I've come a long way. Not the longest though. It could be way better. But yeah, like here I'm using this microphone that I got as well, something else that I had to get to make the videos. Not only to mention the tripods, the lighting, like you see the lights here. This is a ring light that I have. I might need to upgrade that as well.
What is up, everybody? This is Branded Player 23, and today
Hello, render player 23, you sexiest.
I bring you the deck profile for the Doom of Dimension season. Before we start, don't forget to like the video and share it with a fellow Branded player. Without further ado, let's go right into the video. Alright, let's start now with the Dark Monsters of the deck. I have triple Fallen Evolvus,
Short video tonight.
double Albion,
Only 4 minutes, but I explained
double Oliver only,
it was meant to be quick.
double Mercurier,
4 minutes.
double Sarnair, one Tragedy, one Shiren, and one Dark Magician. You'll know while we use it, and one Kids. For the Light Monsters,
This should be
double Cartesia,
here.
double Quem, I think that's the right ratio, one Levelian, one Maximus. As for the non-light monsters or non-branded cards, we have three Mulcharmifolas. I think it's mandatory for the format. And probably the best hand trap right now, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit.
I ended up taking off the Ghost Ogre because
And probably the best
it
hand trap
was
right now.
good because Yami had field spells. It was good because Canine had well, Canine had okay, so Canine, but that's not trigger. But the Banquet Show card to have field spell, and then Dracotel doesn't have a continuous spell card, but I think there was one other deck. Well, it's Ryciel was still a thing. You can break, you can pop Ryciel Dual Drive and also the field spell with this.
Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. For the spell cards, let's have the three offs. Triple Nadir Servant. I mean, this is the best one card combo, non-branded fusion past turn. If it gets negated by any reason, if you play this, you're still in the game and you might be even winning. Triple Super Poly, triple Rounding High Spirits, triple Opening, triple Frost, triple Fusion Deployment, double Allure only, double Rounded Fusion, which bumped up the number of cards that we have in the deck to 57 now. One branded in red, one branded loss.
Crazy. I took out branded in red. When was this video? 3 months ago, I mean, in September. Wow. Oh yeah. I cut off branded in red and the Chimera card.
One Grass Looks Greener, and one triple Tactics Talent. Now let's move on to the trap cards. Double Banishment, one Retribution, and one Fusion Duplication. Even though we have two branded fusion, I still run this card. It's really good and very powerful.
Yeah.
It can not only copy
How many?
two branded fusion, I still run this card. It's really good and very powerful.
Was it?
It can not only copy the number of cards that we have in the deck